How is it going today? Lord, it's Kenny. My name's Dwayne.
My name's Jess.
Dwayne and Jazz say we have 3 disturbing real basement horror stories.
Shoot, my basement was not finished.
Your basement was a horror
Yours
story
was.
in its own. It's like,
Yours was finished.
Mine was finished. Mine was
Not
good.
mine. Mine
We'll
was
tell you the
full.
story at the end.
So.
If you guys have any reaction requests, please follow us on all our social medias and the link is just below. And don't forget to
Subscribe.
That
That sounded so high. Don't forget to.
Basement was scary for me though.
I never liked going in my basement because it was unfinished. You had a reason to go down there.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was dark and scary. If y'all hear wind,
That is storming outside.
it's not even a storm. It's just wind.
We
It's
grinding.
just wind, okay? And it has been hard pushing for about 2 days now.
Right.
So you're gonna hear it.
So yeah,
sorry.
so we grinding regardless. And let's dive back on this.
Okay.
When my grandparents passed away, instead of my parents selling our house, they just let me live in it instead since I was of moving out age anyway.
Nice
I just had to pay the
grandparents.
taxes and monthly expenses. At first, I really enjoyed living alone, given that I could have whoever I wanted over whenever I wanted.
Exactly.
But it quickly got lonely being alone. So I got myself a 2-year-old German Shepherd dog named Rocky. He was named after Rocky Balboa.
Oh no.
He's a very calm and gentle German Shepherd. He hardly ever barks, only when he feels threatened or if he's playing with another dog.
Shoot, not
I bought him
Rocky.
a doggy bed the day after I adopted him and put it next to my bed. After I got Rocky, I always left the bedroom door open so that he could go
It's
get
weird
water
hearing
at
it
night if
because
he was
now we have
thirsty.
a dog named Rocky.
One night, soon after I adopted Rocky, I woke up to his barking coming from outside my room and down the hallway.
Oh, he's a German
I got out
Shepherd.
of bed to check what the hell he was barking at. I rubbed my eyes as I walked down the hallway, and when I opened them, I saw Rocky maniacally barking and clawing
That
at the
means
basement
something's
door.
there.
I didn't know what to do. Usually I'd
Let him go.
to deal with
That's what the
something
shepherd
like this.
boy.
Now it
Attack.
was on me. I was terrified. I had to ask myself if I wanted Rocky to go down there with me. And I quickly realized
Yes.
there was no chance of me going down there alone.
Yeah, let's
I
go,
opened the
Rocky.
door ever so lightly, but it was enough for Rocky to push it open with his nose and run down the stairs. I flipped on the lights and followed close behind. Rocky was silent now, which I found a bit concerning. I looked around for him, calling his name, and then I saw him standing still, with his tail between his legs, looking up at something in an opposite corner of the room that was blocked by a wall.
Oh no.
Rocky looked at me, and his tail slightly raised as I approached him. I could now see what he was looking at. It was a closet door. Rocky's apparent bout of confidence was obviously short-lived, and he seemed to be back to his calm and timid self. All that was passing through my mind at that moment was,
Somebody's
do I
in
dare open this closet door right now? And who or what could be in there? I didn't know Rocky too well just yet, but I had a feeling he wouldn't attack whoever or whatever
For
was
no
in there.
reason.
I'm still not sure whether I made the right move or not, but instead of opening that closet door, I took Rocky by the collar and walked with him back upstairs. He kept looking back at the corner of the basement until we got to the
He's
stairs.
like, what you...
I shut the basement
He's like,
door,
let's
and
get
dragged him
this.
back to my bedroom and shut the bedroom door. Then I went to the kitchen to call my dad. I had to call 3 times before he finally
nice
picked up in a
kitchen.
groggy voice. I explained the
a very
situation and
nice
asked him what I
kitchen.
should do.
Like the
He
lights.
said I should go back down there with a huge knife or some kind of weapon and see what's in the closet. I told him I was too scared to. And somewhere deeper into that conversation with my dad, I realized the basement door was open. I put the phone down for a second to listen to what I thought were footsteps.
Oh no.
And I was right. Loud and clear were footsteps heading towards the front door. I ran to my bedroom and told my dad. He told me to hang up the phone and call the
Yeah, I was
cops.
supposed to call the
so I
cops.
did. By the time the cops showed up, though, whoever was in the
Nobody's
house was
there.
obviously gone already. Unfortunately, I left a large amount of cash down there by the bar. All of it was gone. The basement
Why?
window was wide open, so we found the method of entry pretty quickly. Just turned out to be a break-in burglary when I happened to be home.
You should have sicked that dog on him. That's why the dog even looked back. He was like, what you doing?
It said,
The story took place just 2 weeks ago. I've always had a fear of basements since I was a kid. Now
'Cause
that
they're
I'm
dark.
18, my fear is obviously subdued a little bit.
He knows all the horror
I
movies are in the
slowly
basement.
glance over my shoulder to any noise I may
Exactly.
hear behind me. and I might get that slight butterfly in my stomach feeling when I'm alone. Well, on this cold Friday night, I was home alone, and since our biggest
today's
thing
a
is in the
cold Friday
basement,
night.
that's where I'd
You
usually
don't have a
chill,
basement.
especially to play video games. I was playing
a
Fortnite
junky
with my
basement.
friends, some crazy popular first-person shooter game. I
Fortnite.
had headphones in, and I was really invested in the game. Yet, even over the loud sound effects through the headphones,
That's gotta be
I heard
Fortnite.
something come from behind me, like a thump. I took off the headphones and examined the back of the basement. Now, our basement is huge, but also extremely cluttered and messy. If I wanted to actually thoroughly examine what's behind me, I'd have to get up. That's how
I
bad
couldn't
it
have my
is.
basement looking like
But
that.
I didn't.
I
feel that
can't
were
either. That's like a
necessary.
hoarder's basement.
Yeah, I found it a bit unsettling any time I heard a noise, but I really didn't think it was anything to be concerned about. I tried to continue playing. However, I wasn't able to give my full focus anymore. Not with part of me constantly thinking about the noise.
Oh my god.
I took off the headphones and played with them off just because I was feeling extra paranoid and wanted to hear my surroundings. Shortly after taking off the headset, there was a sudden clank sound, and it had a metallic, echoey ringing to it. I turned off the system
got
because I was in
musical.
shock. This was an intentional sound made by someone or something.
How does someone
Walked
work in that
really,
space?
really slowly to the backside of the basement. When I laid eyes on the big metal air vent in the corner, that's when it hit me, that was most likely the source of the sound. I got as close as I felt comfortable, then stopped and just looked at the air vent for a second. I got a terrible, painful feeling in my stomach, and I felt like the life was literally being drained out of me when I saw a hand reach out from the air vent and start waving me over.
What?
Then a deep, raspy voice said, "Come here, I need help."
I'm not helping
I
you.
just gradually stepped backwards with my mouth hung open.
Come here.
looking at the vents.
Come here, I need help.
The person's hands gripped the
Helping
vent
you?
and started shaking it
What?
aggressively, obviously trying to break it open. I screamed, "I'm calling the cops," but the shaking didn't stop. I did what I said. I called the cops and told them to send someone right away. The operator told me to go to a room upstairs with a weapon, lock the door, and hide. I was the most scared I'd ever been in my entire life. And the pain and fear of the situation only became worse when I heard a door bust open downstairs, and I could hear a maniac screaming at the top of his lungs. I'm not lying when I said he was screaming things like, "Where are you? I'm gonna kill you."
Oh.
I
my
heard him
God.
run up the stairs. He probably ran up 2 stairs for every step, because he was up the stairs in like 3 seconds. My heart was in
Oh,
my
no.
throat when he tried the doorknob to the door.
Better get
and
a
started
knife.
pounding on it so hard I could see the door caving in a little bit. I thought he was actually going to break the door down. I had to climb out the window or I'd be a goner.
You
I
need to
think he
get
heard
a
me,
weapon.
though, because the banging stopped. I jumped from the window to the bushes below, and with the right stroke of luck, a cop car pulled up in front of my house. I basically ran into the officer's arms, begging them to go inside and get the man. They told me to wait in the police car, which they locked, while they both went inside the house with their guns drawn. Not even 5 minutes later, the 2 officers came out, and they were holding the man in cuffs.
Cool. Good. They
The
got
man in
him.
cuffs took my place in the backseat
Ooh.
of the cop car, and from that moment, until the cops drove away, he was giving me the most evil, hate-filled stare you could ever imagine.
Oh
That
my
stare still
God.
haunts me. The whole experience still haunts me.
Who are you?
I still hang out in the basement occasionally, but nowhere near as much.
At least they got him. At least they got him. But
yeah.
he needs to move. Because
Well, she needs to move.
if
whoever.
they get out, they're going to come back.
The story
Yeah.
I'm about to tell you is a series of blurry memories from when I was a little kid. We were living in our old house. My brother and I always hung out in the basement where our dad has his hockey table, pool table, and video games.
I bet.
We usually played on his Super Nintendo system, but at some point, I don't remember when it started, my brother and I would hear things come from the boiler/laundry room. The first time this happened, though, my brother and I were playing some racing game on Super Nintendo.
Mario Kart.
That was when we both heard it.
Maybe.
The door to the dryer slammed shut. We knew that's what the sound was. We both called out Mom, figuring maybe she'd been in there the whole time without us realizing.
Right.
But the room was dark and empty of any people. When we realized this, we both ran upstairs screaming for our parents, leaving everything downstairs still on.
Shoot, I
Our
would
parents
too.
came down to humor what they probably thought was just our dumb childish antics, and nobody was in the laundry room. Moving along probably a few months, I was awake late one night for whatever reason, walking to the kitchen, passing the basement door, and remember hearing the TV downstairs turn on. It was one of those big
It's getting
old
comfy
box
now?
TVs, so it made that distinct clicking sound as it turned on. I called Mom, Dad, and my brother's name. No one answered. I went to my parents' room to tell them, and they were both upset with me for waking them.
Oh my
My
god,
dad
there
went
could be an
downstairs to turn
intruder.
off the TV, and I remember him telling me it's a glitchy TV. There were a couple other suspicious happenings after that.
See, I'm not gonna be like that when I be
all
a
the way to the
parent.
last occurrence, and honestly the most horrific. It was a few days before we were going to move to our new house. Just about everything in the house was already shipped to the new house, but our parents were nice and let us keep the TV and video games downstairs until the last few days. My brother and I were once again playing video games. That's when I felt something hit me in the back of the head.
Oh, now
I
it's
thought it
hitting
was my
now.
brother at first, but then saw the red ball bouncing on the ground behind the couch we were on. Then the door to the boiler room slowly shut as my brother and I looked at each other with
That's
horrified
it.
looks on our faces.
A red ball.
Once again, we ran upstairs screaming. Our parents once again went downstairs, but when they came back up, they were strangely silent. They told us to go to our rooms and wait there. A while later, a police car showed up, but our parents wouldn't let us out of our rooms.
I bet they
They
wouldn't.
wouldn't tell us what happened until we finally moved. Apparently, my dad tried to open the boiler room door, but something was holding it shut, or
Oh,
perhaps pulling it shut. Even so long ago, I could sense fear in my dad's voice explaining it. I don't believe in ghosts, but to this day, I still don't know what to make of what was going on in that
there was
basement.
a person living there. He was squatting in your basement.
Or was it like you said?
Or it's it.
Threw
See,
the
this is
ball
making
at
me
him.
concerned to have a house. Like all these scary house stories, like when you're home alone, they can be scared. Like
Yeah,
when we
no.
finally buy one.
Oh, we're gonna have
like
to-
what if somebody is like in our basement or in our attic? Or
We're gonna have
something
guns.
like that.
We're gonna have guns
In a safe.
in a safe. I'm gonna have a scar, like a gold scar.
Oh, where are you gonna get a scar from?
Don't worry how I'm gonna get a scar. I'm just gonna have a scar. I'm just gonna have like from Fortnite.
No.
They
I'll
come
probably
with
go to
me.
the kitchen.
It's game over, son.
My go-to weapon whenever I hear any sound around the house, I go to that kitchen, I get the biggest knife, and I start walking around and looking at every little crevice.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that. Don't be saying the same word.
No. It was me first. Anyway, yeah, but man, I'll never. Your basement was unfinished. Your
My
basement.
basement was unfinished and it was scary. Like I didn't like going down there. Like,
I see why. It kind of
whenever-
did look scary down
Whenever
there.
cause it was a long way down. Like it wasn't like one of those like you could just see the bottom. Like sometimes you couldn't.
Yeah, and then part of it was like it was nice during the day, but not
It was
nighttime,
nice during
huh?
the day. Like during the day, you could see because you know it has like those little windows, so you can have like the daylight coming in. But when it's like nighttime,
Yeah.
and it's like okay, so you will go down, and then there's like a part to the left and part to the right. But if you go to the left and then make another left, there's like a part that's like to the right, and it's like really deep, like in the back of the house. And I never like going back there because I felt like there was something back there waiting for me.
Right.
And I didn't like it. So whenever my parents sent me down there, I would get whatever I had to get and dip. I would like run. Like,
I used to be like, "What's that noise that's coming up?" And I was like, "Oh, that's me." I'm like, "Why are you running? Why are you running?"
like I don't like it.
Anyway, guys, please God bless us.
Don't forget to like and share. This is